Hi, good evening. My name is Sumit Mishra, and I'm the co-founder of Trip Store Holidays. So, Trip Store Holidays is a marketplace for multi-day tours. So, before starting this pitch, I would like to share a short story of how we started working on this concept. So, late in 2019, my parents were attending a wedding in Jaipur, and before attending the wedding, they thought, let's do a Rajasthan trip. So they generally like to travel with a group of people because they meet new friends. Yeah, it's a fun way to travel. So I tried searching for a lot of tours online wherein they could start from a certain point and they could eventually end the tour in Jaipur at the time of their wedding. But it took me more than 7 days to find a tour. And after it took me 7 days, even after I was working into a travel industry. So I was running a travel agency for 7 years. So for someone like me who does this in and out every day, taking 7 days to find a tour is a huge task. And that is when I started searching for a platform or a marketplace where I could start finding multiple tours at one place, but I couldn't find so. And that is how we started working on this concept. So as I said, we are a marketplace for multi-day tours. So I would just like to give you a small brief about what is a multi-day tour. So there are multiple names to it: multi-day tours, group tours, fixed tours. These are a kind of holiday where the operator combines a lot of services together, like your accommodation, sightseeing, your transport, your meals, and even sometimes your flight or train tickets into a single combined package, which operates on certain days wherein you go and join the tour with an unknown group of people from 10 to around 50 people as well. To give you an example of what kind of tours these are, so let's say like a religious trip wherein you go to a Char Dham Yatra, or maybe a Europe trip across the Western Europe for a 19 days, which happens in a coach, which is like a bus tour. Or you could go with a group of people to Tanzania or Africa for a wildlife tour. Or if you're a young person wanting to do a trek tour, you could also go to Kedarkanta or maybe a Mount Everest base trek. So once we identified the problem, we went deeper into it to understand what was the real challenge. And surprisingly, we found a problem or a market gap on both sides of the market. So basically, the travelers were trying to search tour online, and the operators are trying to sell tours online. With over 100 million bookings, there are less than 15% bookings which actually processed online. Around 30% operators have online presence, like they have a website, they have a social media account, but they are not actually selling tools online. It is more like an information center for them, right? Which is not updated regularly. It's kind of redundant. They don't do social media activities to go out in the market, right? Only 10% operators are selling tour online, and these include big brands like Thomas Cook, SOTC, Contiki, or maybe few other bigger brands. And there are a new startups, very few new startups who have come in and who have started selling tours actually online. So we did a survey once we identified the problem. We did a survey with around 400 people, few of our old clients, friends and families who we know travel. And surprisingly, 68% travelers said that they visit at least 11 websites or travel agents or tour operators and compare a minimum of 2 3 tours before finalizing and booking a tour. In an online space, lack of trust is one of the most important factors where the booking is not being processed to an unknown operator because the value of the tours are higher. It's not a 1,000 to 2,000 rupees product that you're buying. Sometimes it goes up to 10,000 and even goes into lakhs. So trusting a new operator with such a huge amount of money was the biggest challenge that people were facing while booking a tour online. On the tour operator side, because it's a pre-purchased tour wherein the operator purchases a lot of inventory beforehand because the pricings and everything come beforehand. So there is a lot of pre-purchase which happens at the back end. And even if the tour is operated at 90% capacity, the tour operator lose more than 50% of the profitability just because he's not able to sell that last 10%, right? So this was the market gap that we identified in the market. And that is how in 2020 we came out with a solution wherein TripStore is a web platform which connects travelers and tour operators and book their tours online basically. So right now the travelers can book over 1,000 tours by 100 plus verified operators in over 20 different travel themes. We have themes like motorcycle tours, women only tours, cruises, hiking, and wildlife. There are multiple themes that we cater to. We are majorly joining the bandwagon wherein we are shifting the last leg of the travel industry by booking tours online. There are already brands that every all of you know. Make My Trip, which you generally use for booking your flights and hotels. There's booking.com for booking your hotels. There is Airbnb wherein you book your villas and stuff. There is Redbus wherein you book your bus booking. There is no brand as such wherein you could go online and start booking your tours online per se. We are a one stop shop for all tour packages from 1 day going up to 30 days. Higher bookings is equal to higher profitability for the operators, and it's a better price for customers. So once they start operating on a higher capacity of the tours, the operators can start offering better prices to customer because they are losing less amount of money, as they're operating at full capacity. The major point that we identified was the trust factor, and that is how we got this process into place on our platform, wherein we get a payment security guarantee to the traveler and as well as the tour operator. So basically, once a traveler confirms a tour with us, we collect the payment from the traveler, but we do not pass on that payment to the operator unless and until the operator shares all the hotel bookings and the flights and all the vouchers with the customer. Once the client gets the vouchers, they verify everything at their end, and once they give us a go ahead within 2 days, we transfer that payment to the tour operator, thus completing the entire transaction. So this is the current user journey right now, wherein if you want to book a tour or you think of booking a tour, you generally go on Google, you try to find operators, you go on social media, you try and search a few other websites that you already know. You call a few operators that you already know you have traveled with, or you ask for references from your friends and family from where they have traveled, and they generally try to process all this information. Once they connect with them, they are bombarded with a lot of information, like they get brochures, they get PDFs, they get printouts, they get website links, WhatsApps, they get a lot of calls trying to explain what kind of tour is it. And once are certain about a certain number of tours, so they try to compare all of these tours to understand which one is fitting their requirement the best. And luckily, if you find the right tour, the tour is being booked, which is still around 85% goes offline. But if you find the wrong tour, you start again from the searching of the tours, and it's a huge process as such. So at Trip Store, we have simplified this entire process to just a three-step process, which we called as a search, compare, and book. Once you come onto our website, you just let us know the destination that you want to travel, or you just choose a theme that you want to travel to, or even that you could just tell us the month that you want to travel. We show you a list of tours depending upon your selection, right? You could use filters like the price point, which departure city that you want to travel to, which theme are you looking for, and you can shortlist certain number of tours. Once you find your tours that you are liking, you can compare up to 3 tours on a single dashboard, which is an apple to apple comparison of the number of days, which cities are you visiting, what kind of hotels are you going to stay, what kind of sightseeings, what are the inclusions, everything on a single dashboard. So the current user journey takes someone somewhere from 7 to 10 days to do this entire process, wherein we have cut down this entire process to just 30 to 60 minutes, wherein from where you start finding a tour till you finalize a tour, it can be done everything into under 60 minutes. Talking about the market, travel industry is a huge industry. It is somewhere around 10% of the GDP of India. There are over 15,000 registered operators, and there are over 50,000 tour packages for worldwide within India and abroad. This is the data. This is pre-COVID, wherein there were 90 million domestic tourists within India, around 60 million tourists, wherein they are inbound travelers, wherein foreigners who come to India and travel, and there are over 50 million outbound tourists, wherein Indians go abroad and travel. So the entire market is of around $240 billion, wherein the size of the package tour, wherein people travel into a package tour, is somewhere around $60 billion, and 5 billion is something the market that we think that can be achievable through our market.